Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 9, Book 89, number 319. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, "There will be three types of people whom Allah will neither speak to them on the day of resurrection nor will purify them from sins, and they will have a painful punishment. They are, 1. A man possessed superfluous water, more than he needs, on a way and he withholds it from the travelers. 2. A man who gives a pledge of allegiance to an imam, ruler, and gives it only for worldly benefits. If the imam gives him what he wants, he abides by his pledge, otherwise he does not fulfill his pledge. 3. And a man who sells something to another man after the Asr prayer and swears by Allah, a false oath, that he has been offered so much for it whereupon the buyer believes him and buys it although in fact, the seller has not been offered such a price." See Hadith number 838. Volume 3. Volume 9, Book 89, number 320. Narrated by Ubadah bin as-Samit. Allah's Apostle said to us while we were in a gathering, "Give me the oath, pledge of allegiance for sad face. 1. Not to join anything in worship along with Allah. 2. Not to steal. 3. Not to commit illegal sexual intercourse. 4. Not to kill your children. 5. Not to accuse an innocent person, to spread such an accusation among people. 6. Not to be disobedient, when ordered, to do good deeds." The Prophet added, "Whoever amongst you fulfill his pledge, his reward will be with Allah, and whoever commits any of those sins and receives the legal punishment in this world for that sin, then that punishment will be an expiation for that sin, and whoever commits any of those sins and Allah does not expose him, then it is up to Allah if he wishes he will punish him or if he wishes, he will forgive him." So we gave the pledge for that. See Hadith number 17, Volume 1. Volume 9, Book 89, number 321. Narrated by Aisha. The Prophet used to take the pledge of allegiance from the women by words only after reciting this holy verse Sad Face 60.12, that they will not associate anything in worship with Allah 60.12, and the hand of Allah's Apostle did not touch any woman's hand except the hand of that woman his right hand possessed, i.e. his captives or his lady slaves. Volume 9, Book 89, number 322. Narrated by Aisha. We gave the pledge of allegiance to the Prophet and he recited to me the verse 60.12, that they will not associate anything in worship with Allah 60.12. And he also prevented us from wailing and lamenting over the dead. A woman from us held her hand out and said, "Such and such a woman cried over a dead person belonging to my family and I want to compensate her for that crying." The Prophet did not say anything in reply and she left and returned. None of those women abided by her pledge except Sulaim, al-Ala, and the daughter of Abi Sabra, the wife of al-Mu'a, or the daughter of Abi Sabra, and the wife of Mu'a. Volume 9, Book 89, number 323. Narrated by Jabir. A Bedouin came to the Prophet and said, "Please take my pledge of allegiance for Islam." So the Prophet took from him the pledge of allegiance for Islam. He came the next day with a fever and said to the Prophet, "Cancel my pledge." But the Prophet refused, and when the Bedouin went away, the Prophet said, "Medina is like a pair of bellows, furnace. It expels its impurities and brightens and clears its good." Volume 9, Book 89, number 324. Narrated by Al-Qasim bin Muhammad. Aisha said, "O my head, Allah's apostle said, if that, i.e., your death, should happen while I am still alive, I would ask Allah to forgive you and would invoke Allah for you." Aisha said, "O my life which is going to be lost. By Allah, I think that you wish for my death, and if that should happen then you would be busy enjoying the company of one of your wives in the last part of that day." The Prophet said, "But I should say, O my head, I feel like calling Abu Bakr and his son and appoint the former as my successors, lest people should say something or wish for something. Allah will insist on Abu Bakr becoming a caliph, and the believers will prevent anyone else from claiming the caliphate, or Allah will prevent anyone else from claiming the caliphate, and the believers will insist on Abu Bakr becoming the caliph." Volume 9, Book 89, number 325. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. It was said to Umar, "Will you appoint your successor?" Umar said, "If I appoint a caliph as my successor, it is true that somebody who was better than I, i.e., Abu Bakr, did so, and if I leave the matter undecided, it is true that somebody who was better than I, i.e., Allah's apostle, did so." On this, the people praised him. Umar said, "People are of two kinds. Either one who is keen to take over the caliphate or one who is afraid of assuming such a responsibility. I wish I could be free from its responsibility in that I would receive neither reward nor retribution. I won't bear the burden of the caliphate in my death as I do in my life." Volume 9, Book 89, number 326. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. That he heard Umar's second speech he delivered when he sat on the pulpit on the day following the death of the Prophet. Umar recited the Tashahhud while Abu Bakr was silent. Umar said, "I wish that Allah's apostle had outlived all of us, i.e., had been the last to die. But if Muhammad is dead, Allah nevertheless has kept the light amongst you from which you can receive the same guidance as Allah guided Muhammad with that. And Abu Bakr is the companion of Allah's apostle. He is the second of the two in the cave. He is the most entitled person among the Muslims to manage your affairs. Therefore get up and swear allegiance to him." Some people had already taken the oath of allegiance to him in the shed of Bani Sa'idah, but the oath of allegiance taken by the public was taken at the pulpit. I heard Umar saying to Abu Bakr on that day, "Please ascend the pulpit," and kept on urging him till he ascended the pulpit, whereupon all the people swore allegiance to him. Volume 9, Book 89, number 327. Narrated by Jubair bin Mut'im. A woman came to the Prophet and spoke to him about something, and he told her to return to him. She said, "O Allah's apostle, if I come and do not find you," as if she meant, if you die. The Prophet said, "If you should not find me, then go to Abu Bakr." Volume 9, Book 89, number 328. Narrated by Tariq bin Shahab. Abu Bakr said to the delegate of Buzakah, "Follow the tails of the camels till Allah shows the caliph, successor, of his prophet and al-Muhajirin, emigrants, something because of which you may excuse yourselves. Volume 9, Book 89, number 329. Narrated by Jabir bin Samura. I heard the Prophet saying, "There will be 12 Muslim rulers, who will rule all the Islamic world." He then said a sentence which I did not hear. My father said, "All of them, those rulers, will be from Quraysh." Volume 9, Book 89, number 330. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's apostle said, "By him in whose hands my life is, I was about to order for collecting firewood and then order someone to pronounce the adhan for the prayer and then order someone to lead the people in prayer, and then I would go from behind and burn the houses of men who did not present themselves for the compulsory congregational prayer. By him in whose hands my life is, if any one of you had known that he would receive a bone covered with meat or two small pieces of meat present in between two ribs, he would come for Aisha prayer." See Hadith number 617, Volume 1. Volume 9, Book 89, number 331. Narrated by Abdullah bin Khabib bin Malik. Who was Khabib's guide from among his sons when Khabib became blind? I heard Khabib bin Malik saying, when some people remained behind and did not join Allah's apostle in the Battle of Tabuk. And then he described the whole narration and said, Allah's apostle forbade the Muslims to speak to us, and so we, I and my companions, stayed 50 nights in that state, and then Allah's apostle announced Allah's acceptance of our repentance.